Unibail's rent collection has fallen 80%. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. I have a stein of coffee, and I thought we'd have a look at this article discussing the Unibail rent collection fall with the parent company that owns Westfield. And it'll give us some insight into the European and American retail markets. So we'll have a look here. Originally prepared by the Financial Review regarding Westfield, or Unibail's, the company that owns Westfield, their rent collection for April collapsed 80%. Now, we've been talking about rent strike. Most recently was Hungry Jack's, and then Spotlight. Lots of commercial tenants, retail tenants, and industrial tenants are arguing for rent reductions or simply demanding them, saying, I'm not paying rent anymore. Now, Unibail, Rodamco Westfield, it's traded on the Australian Stock Exchange. It's a foreign company. It's traded on the Australian Stock Exchange with a depository receipt. And you can see here it's gone down. In Feb, it was at, $10.52. We go back to here. On January, it opened the year about $11.20. Now we're down at $4.83. It's just jumped up on this news of their rent's down, or rent collection down 80%. It's pushed it up, but people perhaps they're thinking we're seeing the bottom. Maybe confidence is starting to return to the market. I'll leave that to all of you to discuss in the comments. But if we look at URW on the European exchange, you can see it's also fallen there, and European technicals are telling us to sell. This is the trading view. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at what's been reported here in the Financial Review. Global shopping centre owner Unibail Rodamco Westfield collected just 20% of its retail rents by late April, as its malls closed and retail sales plummeted because of the flow-on effects of the pandemic. So this is actually quite good because it's giving us an insight on this global issue. Remember, Australia is not just in this alone, and in many ways we're quite dependent on what happens overseas because we're an exporter nation. So tenants reported a 59.5% decline in sales across its European malls and a drop of 55.2% in the US portfolio in March after the deadly virus became widespread, according to Unibail's quarterly business update. And we'll go through the information they provided to the ASX. By April 24, Unibail had collected around a fifth of the April retail rent, despite having extended payment terms for most of the April and May rent without applying penalties, it said. How generous of them. How generous. But you can see that, if we're having issues in Europe, we're having issues in the US, everyone. One of the world's biggest owners of shopping malls, or shopping centres for those of us in Australia, Unibail last month dumped its earning guidance and said it would halve its dividend amid rising uncertainty caused by the pandemic. Since March 24, all of Unibail's shopping centres have been substantially closed, except in Sweden and the Netherlands. I didn't know what strategy Netherlands was doing. While the situation is evolving daily, a number of governments in the group's regions have taken steps to gradually lift the restrictions imposed, it said. In Germany, smaller shops have mostly been allowed to reopen since April 20. Malls are expected to reopen through May in Austria, Poland, and the Czech Republic, Denmark, and Spain. In the US, malls are reopening on a state-by-state basis, Unibail noted. This week, Simon Property Group, the biggest operator of malls in the US, outlined plans to reopen 49 shopping centres across 10 states. So is this what we're starting to see? There's more confidence returning. Is the market expecting, boosted confidence? Unibail took over ASX-listed Westfield and its global malls portfolio in 2018. As a result of that deal, securities in the European-based giant trade on the Australian stock market through a depository instrument. Australia's biggest mall owners, Westfield operator Centre and Vicinity, have been hit hard by store closures and falling foot traffic as a result of the social distancing measures imposed to prevent the spread of the illness. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at the Unibail Rodamco Westfield press release that we have here, and let's see what's going on here. So, financial information as of the 31st of March, and this was released yesterday. Or not yesterday, 2 days ago. So, sorry, no, it was released yesterday in Australia, but Europe's behind us. We're in the future here in Australia. I keep forgetting. URW reports total turnover through March 31, 2020 has gone up 1.8%. The quarter was marked by the initial impact of the illness outbreak, affecting primarily the convention and exhibition businesses in France and retail activity in parts of Europe. As from April 20th, progressive reopening has started in Germany. Austria is expected to follow on May 2nd, Poland on May 4th, France, the Czech Republic and Denmark on May 11th, and Spain between May 24th and June 3rd. Through February 29th, the group's tenant sales were up by 2.8%, of which 3.3% was in Europe and 1.6% in the US. So, number one, turnover. The proportionate turnover of Unibail Rodamco Westfield, or the group, for the first 3 months of 2020 amounted to €956.6 million, up by 1.7%, mainly due to the property development and project management revenues, partly offset by disposals completed in 2019 and the mandated cancellation of major events in March in the convention and exhibition business due to the pandemic. The strong growth in the property development and property management revenues is driven by projects in the UK during the quarter. So, the pandemic had only a limited effect on the group's Q1 turnover, as renters are billed and paid quarterly in advance in most of Europe and monthly in the US. The impact of the pandemic will be reflected as of Q2, although at this time it is too early to reliably estimate such an impact on the group's result for 2020. So this is the thing, we're not really seeing the impact, are we? We're not really seeing the impact of this pandemic. We're not really seeing the impact of the global lockdowns. But, I mean, this is a good indicator for us to see what's happening in Europe and what's happening in the States. So let's have a look here. I mean, shopping centers, the change up 0.2%, offices down 11%, convention and exhibition down 30%. Rental income down 25%, services down 36%. So, look at all these ones that are taking a hit. It's the property development and project management revenues up 48%, which has pretty much saved their profits. What does that tell us about the retail sector? What does that tell us about the retail sector? So here we go. We've got, well, Australia barely even ranks on this. Gross rental income. So shopping centers in France were up. United States was up. Central Europe was down 3.8%. Spain was up 2.5%. Nordics were down 9.2%. Austria down 18.7%. So down nearly 20%. And they're saying we're not seeing it. This is concerning. There's a lot of negatives here, isn't it? UK down 4.3%. Germany up 0.7%. The Netherlands down 0.2%. Offices and others were down 11.4%. In France, 16.5% it was down. And other countries was up 2.9%. So convention and exhibition center is up 25 or down 25.2%. So it's not doing too well, is it? Major events, footfall and tenant sales. Footfall in the group's continental European shopping centers grew by 1.9% through February 29, 2020. Footfall was particularly strong in France, up by 3% despite the continued public transport strikes. Footfall in the UK was up by 2.9%. Tenant sales through February 29, 2020 in the group's European shopping centers were strong, up 3.3% for flagships, of which 3.7% was continental Europe and 1.3% was UK. excellent performance was recorded in the Nordics. I mean, it's all kind of out of date now because we're seeing how low their rental returns are. So they've got health and safety measures here, and I'll link to this if you want to go through this in detail yourself, guys. But this is some good insight into what's happening over in Europe and the US in the retail sectors. Will it be mimicked in Australia? We'll have to wait and see. Thank you all for watching, everyone. Please let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you're a fan. If you'd like to support us, there are a few ways you can. You can support us via Patreon or YouTube. You can use our affiliate links at Amazon or eBay or Independent Reserve and Kucoin. You can buy our merch from the HeiseSays blog, Handmade Pocket Squares by Rachel. Send us gold using Gold Pass from the Perth Mint. And finally, support us via PayPal. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next episode.